Welcome to the House of Enneagram. So today we have a conversation between David, a self-pressed sexual 9, and Moses from the Discord, who's a social self-pres 5. They embark on a freeform discussion about sex and the social enneagrammic forces and structures that shape them. This conversation was inspired by the book Personae by Camille Paglia, and there are a lot of trails and side quests. It's sort of a preamble conversation that could have many different parts. If you're so inclined, like and subscribe.
Did you have an intro in mind, or talk about how we stumbled upon the idea of even doing such a call on such a subject?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that. So I did a 13-minute voice recording on Discord about like masculinity and the relationship to Western culture, and I think something about sexuality. Like it's a really long tangent. And then we got the idea to do the call, and it's like, okay, perfect.
Yeah. I probably responded to that, your voice thing, with something very impressive, and then you were obliged to accept the invitation to do a podcast and to participate.
Part of it is like, oh my god, to be in a podcast. Yes, absolutely. I absolutely need something where I could just like spew my intellectual agenda to the poor children. Yeah.
Intellectual agenda. That's a beautiful phrase.
Yeah. So like this is kind of an interesting thing on like sexual personae and by Camille Paglia.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, of course, it's not about the Enneagram at all, but maybe some will be in it.
No, there's stuff
who knows how far
comes in, around her typology and her approach and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like and some other things like, oh my god, and like American Psycho, the book that like it's a really good one. And I think a little bit on like incel culture, or just how like a little bit of the patriarchy. And like the rise of feminism and the flaws of feminism, and basically the flaws of like basically why everybody is just total shit.
Yeah, exactly. Can I so you're going to be probably more well read than I am, but I'm familiar with the Camille stuff. How have you read that first chapter or beyond, or parts of it, or where are you with
read
Sexual Personae?
Oh yeah, I've read half of it.
Okay.
God, unfortunately, I'm not a method actor, so I don't have the book directly with me. But it's like it's very like reading it is like just like a straight up like it's just a punch to the face, whereas like this is about like male projection, and the female is mysterious and holds something to dominate men, as men get the idea to dominate women, which is really particularly interesting on like the sexual projection in men, in which I think it's kind of like, and also like the book is mostly speaking about like cis men and cis women, in which I like it'd be really nice if we got like someone who's not cisgender to talk about it.
But she's
she is transgender.
She's lesbian.
Yeah.
And she you probably saw. I mean, there's a fair amount I think in that first chapter, where she's essentially saying that gay men throughout history, or certain times in history, were the ones that carried the baton or the torch or whatever for artistic excellence, for example, and that kind of thing, and also even talks about just one frame of male homosexuality as almost like the most masculine thing you could do in a certain way. I mean, one of them, because it's well, just in her, she's got churning giant mother nature and man trying to build permanence of form, and that all of that genitalia symbolism, that was amazing to me too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's like there's kind of this Freudian idea that the man eventually returns to his mother. That is if he's heterosexual. But for the homosexual, it's like coming out of the mother and not needing or not having a natural inclination for the mother, and thus shaping it themselves.
But it's also, yes, men come back to the mother often in some form, with their wife or girlfriend, whatever. But it's also men building hard, permanent forms, whether they be Beethoven compositions or buildings or whatever, so that they don't get swallowed back up by the great giant Earth Mother, right?
Yeah. Like that. Oh, that also reminds me of like the brutalist architecture in A Clockwork Orange.
Oh, wow.
Like like where like basically Alex is getting assimilated into society by being a good person, kind of being
there's a lot in that
kind of like an automaton, in which basically like the whole Alex's complete repression and his disgust with evil and how people basically manipulate him, and the entire architecture is like a whole wall against nature.
Well,
it's like
so you're framing him as what'd you say, against evil?
Yeah, like against like I'd say that like Alex starts as a like of course like a masculine behavior. It starts off with like the danger with like an authoritarian society with police brutality and yet crime being completely rampant. In which
he's
Alex
very
is
good at and a willing participant.
Like the gleeful sadistic joy in nature and experience. Yeah, extremely. And then comes to the repression of being killed, all right. In which in the end there's kind of like this whole either way, like this whole tyranny of ignorance and basically destroying free will and destroying nature to become a good person in society, which is partly why I'm against both parties.
Also, one sort of meta idea to me about all of that is it's a depiction of one iteration of when the masculine isn't in the ascendant in the civilization as a mytho-religious something, where all of that has been subverted so that no matter which way you turn, there's no productive, creative, genius masculine, right? And everyone that's in the government side is just doing everything in a box and controlling,
right?
And then on the young juvenile males are all lone wolf, self-interested, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah, like it's like the ritual is basically gone from like the ritual for masculine initiation is gone,
right?
And nowadays it's gone into like and I think this could apply to everyone, which basically nowadays there's like the age of consent to the age to drive, drink, have drugs.
Sure.
And in which basically these are kind of the assimilated rituals, but nowadays these things that used to be rituals, like the Dionysian cults, or any types of violent acts, or like throwing yourself out in nature and surviving.
Doing something
that doesn't happen anymore.
Or something out in the forest, and part of the ceremony is you slice your leg open or whatever, and then there's a scar that attaches you to the whole ritual, or blah blah blah. Do you know I
Yeah,
Am
like
John, that book? Do you know that book?
yeah, it's been a while since I read the whole thing, like a year. But yeah,
That's
like
that's
kind of back
interesting.
to yeah, like it's like nowadays we don't have those rituals anymore, which
Right.
basically because we're destroying nature. And this kind of the thing of which we put like these rituals in a box, like say for example with hookup culture and all based on what I'm hearing on hookup culture and pornography
Mm-hmm.
and having I think such a massive population, partly out of like not really partly out of but and also along with the Industrial Revolution, which is like a huge,
Right.
massive affront against nature, in which, in order to keep the result of, right,
Well, and that's what
it's your chosen.
estranged boys from fathers and older men.
Yeah.
And so it
Oh
made
yeah,
the masculine and the older masculine, like when you don't know something, you project negative on it, right? So then boys, adolescent males are growing up, with an uncertainty about, I don't know, just the capacities and the, I don't know, just capabilities and so forth, and the goodness or the whatever of their own
yeah,
masculine selves, right?
right.
Right.
Like they don't like that's kind of like, and I kind of an interesting thing out of the sci-fi genre about
Mm.
paranoia about the government and
Mm-hmm.
aliens coming up. It's like the masculine, like when the Industrial Revolution happened, the father is no longer at home,
Mm-hmm.
and the only thing that you're with is your mother or
Right.
with your school teachers,
Right.
which is kind of a like your school like your mother would have to kind of act as the traditional masculine form,
That's right.
um, and for men who need that, they simply don't have that with the mother,
Right.
and with education, it's basically, I think, neutering the masculine. It's
Yeah.
neutering people,
No, I mean,
and I would
especially
love to. Mhm.
boys in a
Yeah,
way. I mean, plenty of girls too, but especially boys. I mean, the it's horrifying on one level to expect boys to sit still for 8 hours or whatever it is when they're
mm,
children, and not
yeah,
do violence and wreak havoc like they should be or something.
yeah. Like it's, um, yeah, yeah. By the way, this is a very family-friendly episode where we're going to tell our kids
Oh yeah.
to wreak havoc and be violent. Go slit someone's heart open.
Oh yeah.
Now,
It's just a
it's
ritual, the murder.
it's just a ritual to like eat someone's ears.
There
um,
you go. I really, really, I mean, everybody says they hate school, but it was just, it was literally felt like prison to me, like, and it just was, well, I mean, I can just, whatever, remember being 6, 7 years old or whatever it was, and realizing that, okay, uh, what is it I'm going to be, uh, I have to at least go to finish high school, and I'll be 17, and it's like, so now my prison sentence is 10 years, and that was just brutal to me or whatever. So at 10, let's see, at 10 years old, well, it was just getting worse and worse, and I was pretending to be sick, and shit like that. And so
mm,
I started, I grew up with my mother. I started, you know, I would always walk to school. It was close by. I just decided to start skipping school, and there just was nothing in it that I was uh, wanting or liking. I didn't, have. There were some friends or whatever, but I just hated the whole thing. I mean, it was partly because I had this strange, on one level, from my crazy perspective, idyllic, you know, uh, what's toddlerhood, you know, where I was sort of like the special uh, golden boy for a couple of older women, and like I knew how to work that, and I liked that, right? Yeah, I was sort of like I've described it as my father wasn't around, so I was doubling up on women, right? To and kind of had that whatever. I had the facility to do that for whatever reason,
Yeah.
and it was a little bit too successful numerous times in my childhood. So, yeah, just school was just these boxes. I mean, my 974 is all I ever wanted to do was creativity, you know, just only aesthetics and excellence and beauty and art and just all of that, right? And
Right.
so, yeah,
Yeah. Like it's kind of that masculine, I think, that kind of patriarchal rebellion against nature of not giving back. Just like, okay, we're going to build something bigger than nature itself to the point where, because we don't have enough space for nature, we're just going to destroy it and put our big dome right over here.
well,
Yeah.
but I think,
And
yeah, I mean the peak, you know, uh, I don't know, civilizations or the peak eras in a given civilization is when there's, you know, of course, an integration of masculine and feminine, and reverence for what they both are as articulated, you know, the higher vibration, so to speak, of what they are as energies. Not that necessarily there's per se pressure to be the higher vibration, but you at least see the higher vibration or the you know the
yeah.
excellent forms of it are in the mythology and in the architecture, literally. I mean, like, to me, one of the
Yes.
problems with America as compared to Europe is that in Europe you're seeing civilizational excellence all around, and like really fine, you know, yeah, just master craftsmanship is in the architecture, right? And there's a, as opposed to in America, where you've got strip malls, there's a I don't know, just an unconscious reverence that you're missing for something higher. Just, you know what I mean? Something not necessarily God, but just excellence of beauty and form and thought and all of that stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even like the Statue of Liberty is not even an American craft.
Right.
Like
Right.
that, which is like amazing to me. Like when you mentioned like the masculine feminine integration, I'm thinking, oh my God,
Yeah.
like there's some like Egyptian culture which I
No,
wish I
that's
could
the
repeat right now.
peak right there. That
But
to me
yeah.
is, I mean, you might have heard me on one of those where we touched on Egypt, but like that is why Egypt, you know, when we look back, if I'm, you know, to it, or, you know, and I'm sort of meaning that abstractly, it's like this golden shining thing that is, well, to me, it's almost like crystallized excellence. So anyway, but going back to John Anthony
Yeah.
West, he had a book called about Egypt called "Serpent in the Sky." So that, and that, well, that partly just perfectly matches my thing of, you know, putting sexual instinct at the peak, and so you've got, so imagine the difference, the mythological, psychomythological, blah blah blah, of the effect of, you know, the snake itself is an integration of masculine and feminine, and whereas the Judeo-Christian Islamic thing, they cast the snake as Satan, and so it flips the triangle upside down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and it that makes it to where self-present social. So you know, you've got,
Like the Simflow and Contraflow
well,
together.
where I'm going is, the leaders, I mean, just total exaggeration, like the politicians, clergy, and so forth, are the social self-preses, and the workers and so forth are the self-pres socials, and it's just that dry thing, you know? It's missing active fire and
Yeah.
water and creativity and so forth, and just going for square boxes, right? And
Yeah.
anyway, so
Like
yeah,
there's
that's, yeah.
like there's
So a big part of Egypt,
like
to me, one way to say it is that it's, and it's in the myths and so forth, is that it's got the feminine thoroughly integrated as, you know, a yin yang thing, right? And
yeah.
that's part of the issue with the way, and the thing is, I don't think it's actually what the original sources of, say, the Bible and so forth, or even Jesus, were wanting to affect. You know what I mean? It was taken, so to speak, and controlled and made dry, and the negative lower masculine, that's that's too form oriented, too hardness of form oriented.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway.
Yeah. And kind of back to the aesthetics, in which the huge difference between Catholicism and Protestantism is that Catholicism has the huge it's definitely has the high artly incredible this is what Camille Paglia was really resonating with. It's the high aesthetics and the high art
and drama,
the beauty, and
and the blood and the wetness of that kind of whole
and why Song of Solomon is still one of the greatest books in the Bible. And there's actually
that is,
there's
not too much of an interruption.
Kind of as hyperbole, but they're in Christianity, basically nowadays, especially in Protestant Christianity, there's nobody either talks about sexuality, or when they do, they demonize it and call it sexual immorality, and they it's really, really demonized. And they don't mention that the Song of Solomon, I think, could be interpreted as it's about lovers and romance, which it's and I think kind of the thing about what's in the biblical canon is that even though there were little hints of it, even though the snake in the garden was demonized, in Gnosticism, the snake had a different point of view, which basically the snake is the holder of truth.
Yeah.
And there's the bronze serpent that Moses put up when
yes.
And also Jesus saying, "Be therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." Yeah, they're little teasers and little hints, but they didn't go away entirely. But people completely ignored that.
Yep.
Kind of aspect of sexuality and full real natural order.
Yep. For example, I sort of plant things like war in the instincts. For example, self-pres social. One way to describe it is self-pres is the land infused with the social culture, right? And so that makes it or our ideology, our religion, or right. So what that means is, totally unconsciously, but significantly, is that this country is good, and that country over there who has the bad belief, that land is infused with something bad. You know what I mean, or whatever.
Yeah,
so
the Israelites conquering the Canaanite land. It's those are the bad people, and kind of the what people don't Christ is not it's not following the will of God, it's actually following your will.
Yes.
Christ is the symbol of the self, and
and I'm doing cartoons here and shitting on the two sexual blinds, but the social self-preses, the politicians and so on, and clergy and so forth, they're demonizing the bad social that the other country is doing. That's their specialty, right? Would be that, right? So you got the leaders doing that, and then the self-pres socials who are invested in their stuff and their daily routine and their country and their local basketball team, and you know what I mean, all that shit.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, my alpha male younger brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's kind of the thing on repressing sexuality, which I don't just see that with Christianity and with conservatives and being anti-LGBTQ plus, which I won't talk too much about conservative. I won't talk much about the conservatives. Everyone knows that. But
plus I'm a staunch conservative myself.
Well, you're a staunch conservative.
No. Well, what I would describe is I am the perfect androgyny of conservative and liberal. Is what I would say.
Also, basically, you're beautiful.
Oh well, there's
Okay.
that. I mean, there's that's the amazing part is it's beauty
Yeah.
and substance. You know.
Yeah. Like the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like back to like this kind of classic androgynous thing, which like have you read My Red Breckenridge?
Who's that?
By
No.
Gore Vidal. Oh, by Gore Vidal.
Oh.
It's
That's
an
Gore
awesome.
Vidal. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's one of the most like godly
My
most.
my mom loved
it's my.
Gore Vidal. I always just see. His
Oh my
books.
God.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah,
I have
no,
her?
and I love him as a personality too.
Yeah, yeah. She's Myra Breckenridge is like one of the best books I've ever read and of all time because like it is about a woman in which, by the way, she's transgender.
Oh, okay.
She basically wants to change the patriarchy. She wants to destroy and disrupt the patriarchy, and like basically change men and women. And she did seduce. Oh my God. So there's this girl and this guy in her class, her acting class that she's teaching, and she seduced. She managed to seduce both of them, and got both of them to break up. And she actually violently fucked one of the boys.
Violently
Oh my
what?
God. She fucked the boyfriend.
Okay.
And yeah, that was great. And in the end, basically, yeah, I really want you to read a book, but
Someday
basically,
I'll read a book.
yeah, someday you'll read a book. But basically, she ends up going back to like because of a car crash and her like basically her boobs inflated and the silicone in her breasts would get into her blood, so they had to remove it and detransition. Basically, Myra went back into her given name or birth name, Myron, and married the girlfriend she seduced, and became a Christian Scientist. It's insane. It's an insane.
Oh
book.
wow, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's kind of like I think with Myra Breckenridge, there's like I think what's missing in like feminism or even with the mainstream media is like there's this anti-sex like there's it's not owning the sexual power. It's not owning this like not owning what you're really into and like even kind of like I'm surprised about my own sexual blind spot but it's like this kind of weird interesting fascination with the sexual instinct and even like Freud who's sexual blind who has this like everything is sex and there's this like owning your like truly owning your power like as a sexual creature and like even like people like all creatures like we're social creatures, we're self-preservation creatures, we're sexual creatures like and people need to like own their complete sexual power and to own
that's a big
what they
one
want.
with of course feminism or a certain aspect of feminism or a certain school of thought or whatever is that a woman's sexual power, which has to do with heterosexual men's biology that just has them fixate on beautiful women and beauty in women and so forth. That is a it's not shallow or whatever, that power, right? But
Yeah, like it's not like I think like to be sexually to have a sexual power is not just to like be attracted to like the people that you want to attract. It's also like finding like it's kind of like power within yourself.
No,
like
that's what I mean too.
It's like being attracted for
that all women for the most part have that they could do such and such. And I might be I'm partly cheapening it, but just how much power that is. That how easy heterosexual men are is part of what I'm getting at, and that there is I'm doing the mid-level version of sexual power, because there's all kinds of other iterations of it. But it's like, I don't know, just to not have artistry with that power, and to not make art with it of yourself, that you can do this thing, that here's, like, you're in, a beautiful woman in front of a man, and you're seeing that he's just like, oh my God, transfixed. Because men are so hyper visual sexually. And that's like a biological difference. Of course, there's variations, blah, 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 blah. I'm a bad person for saying men and women are different. But
but,
but,
like, kind of the thing about, I think, sexuality is that it's also just as incompatible as socializing. It's like, like, there will be people, like, who will find someone extremely attractive, but that person who you're attracted to is not attracted to that. Like,
sure, of course, yeah.
Like, I've seen, like, with these fat, ugly men gooning off to, like, these hot young twinks. Like, that's that's, like, even they know, like, even the people who on OnlyFans know that they're playing a simulation, they're playing a game.
Oh, for sure.
And like we're here to launder money.
No, I mean,
that's
that's the more common thing, is that men, whatever, don't stay in shape or whatever, or and aren't tending to their own whatever sexiness that they could be embodying, or just being in shape or whatever, and they let themselves
like, they're not even trying.
Yeah, and of course there is still that it is. I mean, this is a hyper Darwinian thing, but I mean, part of the thing of men being attracted to certain types and high levels of beauty in women has a genetic thing, because it expresses genetic superiority, genetic health, things like, different things, different just dumb bodily stuff, like a big ass.
Wait, hold on.
And hips.
Yeah. Like, oh my God. Where was I
talking about big asses and breasts and, like men, like hetero men, like, it's not some whatever, I don't know, random thing. Like, some men really are ass man, breast. I mean, that's
feet man,
like hard,
everything.
What's that?
Feet men.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
That's a thing.
Hardcore.
Huge thing.
Yeah.
Like, Tarantino.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually a huge Tarantino fan. But
well, just whatever. I'd be curious to hear whatever the nature is, and it's, I'm sure, multifaceted, of your own, interest or energy, so to speak, around the sexual instinct.
Yeah. It's my interest in around the sexual instinct. I think I think it's always been a part of me. And like, where I grew up in, like, this current Protestant Christian environment where it's never talked about, or at least there's this kind of subtle message that it's not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I knew, like, always what I want. And like, I think, like, finding something like, the Enneagram is like, oh, like, this is like an interesting way to meet people, and also, like, actually learn how people work and actually go get what I want.
Yeah.
It's part of my intellectual agenda is to, like, seduce twinks. That's why.
Well, so given though what you said, like what's how would you describe what's not sort of integrated, or why are you sexual last? Like from what you just said, so what's the argument for you being sexual blind? You know what I'm saying?
So that's really hard, because I am kind of like, I'm sitting, like, I'm even currently sitting with the typing, but it's like I am kind of like, oh, like, how is, like, I think it's kind of like how, like, Freud was interested in sexuality and like using, like, psychology or his, like, supreme knowledge as a way to, like, integrate the sexual instinct and to kind of, like, delve into it, like, delving into my interest just to get into that sexual instinct. Like it's kind of like even I don't think I really see that way, but it's maybe like a compartmentalization of the sexual instinct, where it's like, yeah, it's only in like I can't find it unless if I know this is kind of the way I approach everything, by the way, where it's like I can't know anything about like I want what I want, but it's like I have to approach like it just kind of justify sexuality and like my interest in people through the lens of like the Enneagram or my interests or psychology and like nothing else. And what everyone else is doing out there, it's like, huh? What?
No, I mean that's one iteration of social self-pres that I've heard before, is that kind of thing. What I was going to ask you is to make everything about me, like what do you what is your sense, or do you I don't know, have a sense of the sexual instinct being integrated into my personality? And I don't mean integrated in a self-developmental way, just in the sense of the stacking. Like, do you have a sense of what comes off from me as a personality, or
I think it's I think there's like this total like I think there's this where it's like it sounds very like you sound very matter of fact. Like it's not like oh, I had this problem, I have that problem, and I like there's like this. I think there's kind of like a hint of like, yeah, there's full on like sexual instinct powers. Like, yeah, I know what I was doing and I was aware of that, and this kind of sexual tension that and what everyone else is going along with.
What was that movie with Emma Stone that came out? And, I can't remember what it's, something things. Anyway, where it had Willem Dafoe as a.
Oh, Poor Things.
What's that?
Poor Things.
That's it. Yeah. Like people were just I don't know, politically correctly, having their concerns about how precociously sexual she was. Every single one of those men, she was leading them around by the nose. You know what I mean? Like she was in total domination. Like what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's still like it's kind of still like think this kind of masculine view where it's like men think that we have the power because we have like this we have this erection, we have this thing that we can dominate women with, but it's women that they're like you can't have like an object of desire is definitely going to be a power source where it's like, yeah, I'm leading you on, and I'm going to like encapsulate you and infantilize you. I don't know how people work. Like even like reading how people can be like sexually interested or even socially interested, or why or how, it's like confusing to me. It's like if some person is like interested in me, it's like, huh?
Well, then now you're erasing everything you've said by saying that you don't understand how people.
Yeah, like part of it is like I can't like I've learned how to like mentally read people, but like it's still like at the like at the moment like to register like feelings and emotions and kind of the subjective factor is it takes a long time to get to.
Right. Yeah. No, that's one of the main things about fives as a specimen to watch, because they are uniquely cut off from a lot of the basic receptor sensors of just all of the micro communications that happen with a person's facial expressions and body and so forth. It's and part of what that means too is there's varying degrees in fives of then also not doing the signaling back that is the expected, totally unconsciously expected agreement to say that we're doing this thing, whatever we're doing. Does that make sense?
Is that why? Like, oh God! And I keep asking myself,
people have been reacting to you so negatively all your life, and
that's why people hate me.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, I'm like,
And you're doomed because you're fine.
I think there's kind of an interesting thing how, like, I read the chapter on Rousseau and Marquis de Sade,
Yeah, yeah.
which,
Yeah.
like, Rousseau was really looking for that mother figure. And this
Yes.
kind of, like, it's very light, and
Yeah.
Sade is kind of this ultra-violent,
Yep.
like, murder, sex, death,
Uh-huh.
everything. Like, yeah.
Right, right.
Um, like, it's borderline, like, it borderline reminds me of, like, American Psycho. It's,
Mm-hmm.
like Patrick Bateman, which
Yeah.
I am seeing where sexual blind comes in, which like there's kind of this mix of sexual interest and violence.
Yes.
Like this decapitating a woman's head and then ejaculating into her mouth and
Yeah.
like eating her face.
Well, that's getting at also like similar thing with one aspect of war and the fascination with war and the romance with war is that it's one thing that it is an eruption of the sexual instinct.
Mm,
You're shooting people, you're cutting open gashes, they're
mm,
getting wet by blood, and
mm,
there's explosion and fire and so on and so on, right? So it's
yeah,
like a mega shadow
yeah.
expulsion or something, right?
If America knows what is, America might get into a climax someday. I hope so. But
Yeah.
yeah, like it's like even
Why
like
do
white
you wish
people.
us ill, Moses?
Uh,
You're supposed to lead us.
America doesn't deserve to be here in the first place. Come
Oh,
on.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. Like it's they're um
He
like
says from his comfortable capitalist uh, uh, couch there, which
like
enables him
my
to
capitalist
even
couch.
think about
Yeah. And
criticizing and gives him the comfort
yeah.
to even do that.
And
Pay
even doing this
homage,
very call
please. Yeah,
and doing this very call with this phone
yeah,
that could not have
exactly.
been done
Yeah,
if America didn't exist.
yeah.
Yeah.
You better honor this shit, man.
Yes. um there like I think the fascination with like there's also the fascination with like body gore and horror
Yeah,
and
there you go. Sure.
like this stuff like even with super socials like being interested in like like war movies or action movies like
That's what that is. It's so
it's a huge
self-social.
climax.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's like their softcore pornography.
Yeah, I mean, even James Bond is super self-social, right?
Oh yeah.
I've got the lifestyle, I've got the gadgets, I've got the car, I'm super good looking,
Yeah.
and I'm well traveled and know all these cultures. I'm on the cover of Travel and Leisure magazine. It's
Yeah.
all that.
If that probably doesn't say anything about Daniel Craig's recent casting in Luca Guadagnino's
Oh
new
yeah,
film.
is that where he plays a gay guy, right?
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, I hadn't seen
Yeah,
that. What is it good? Have you seen it?
it's a really it's a really interesting one. It's a really good one. It's kind of like a jarring switch, but it's like wow,
Sure.
like Daniel Craig versus like in James Bond versus
Sure.
like this queer old man. It's like he's becoming like the ripe middle-aged queer that like queer icon. It's like what is going? It's like that's awesome. Yeah, like and going back to like the interesting violence thing where I really like Tarantino because he's like
Uh-huh.
yeah, there's this part of it's the other part is I think there's kind of like this interesting like empowerment of like with women like in like it doesn't come across as like really like I can't imagine having any issue with it whatsoever because it's like super empowering and like Kill Bill
Yeah.
or what's it Jackie Brown or Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, Jackie Brown was great. Yeah.
Yeah. And kind of the interesting thing on violence, where it's like watching a comic book on screen.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's kind of one other question. What's the like a difference between like one fix or eight fix on violence?
Yeah.
Because that's a really interesting because
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I guess where I initially go is like, for example, that guy, Alejandro Jodorowsky, who's a 7 with a 1 fix, there's a quality about the violence comes. There's it's either morally wrong, or it's transformative, or or has a purpose that is that steers the person's life in a certain direction, as opposed to 8. I mean, there's more ways that 1 can show up in terms of violence. There's probably more I could riff on there, but 8, well, an aspect of it, or one of the ways it can show up is, well, just extraneous, or just indulging in the violence, and there's not necessarily, and indulging in the hunt and the kill, right? And that kind of thing, and the just experiencing going up against another big animal, and being the victor, or whatever kind of.
Yeah.
We need to wind it down now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's time.
Like, there's so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we could do another one. This might just be the warm up.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's good talking.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
You
great.
do.
Okay.
Bye.
Take care.